Hi, welcome back. This is Venkat. In this video, I am going to continue the part where I was left in the previous one. I left in the previous video after finishing the logic creation for the pinging devices, pinging IP addresses. Now I am going to continue from creating the logic for the resolving names on the IP addresses on the same IP addresses we give. So it's going to be NS lookup or name resolution stuff. And this is going to be for 5 minutes, and after that I'm going to start uh, adjusting our HTML page to respond to the Python code very fast and appropriate way. So for that I'm adding Ajax, jQuery and JavaScript. uh, this is a basic, these are the basics, simple stuff that even I do not know, but I found through the Flask website, and they help me out to do this application. So I will add those modules to this, and then after that I will test the application. So let's review our content, what we have covered so far. We had the Flask introduction, how it works and what's the tree structure, and we created a basic Flask application, also created a HTTP template and few widgets like text area, submit button, labels, what we need for our application. I started coding on the core Python file, that is main.py, to run the web service in the backend. So and we also going to cover in this video testing the application. So let's start coding. So this is the basic HTML hello.html file we have created. This is the main Python file, main.py file that we have worked so far, and this is the function that is used for pinging the devices, IP addresses. And I'm going to use the same function and same everything and create the NSLOOKUP function, the NSLOOKUP logic. So I just copied and pasted it, and I'm going to change the name now, NSLOOKUP. So I have changed the function name and the route name, and I'm going to use this in the jQuery or JavaScript JavaScripting to request the data from the input on the text HTML file. So we have changed the functions, and now the only thing we have to do is changing the logic for the NSLOOKUP. So here I'm using socket library. The reason I'm using socket library to do the name resolutions for the name resolutions for the IP addresses, like socket library provides much user friendly and efficient results, and it does the job very well. So the main concept and the main reason I'm using is like it gives me the exact name what I need if I want to get the name from an IP address. So it has many things that we can get from an IP address. So some stuff like socket.get host name, socket.get host by address, and so name info, protocol by name, server by name. It has many stuff, so we can use them, and we can get the data exactly what we need. So now I'm going to use that thing and get all the names for the IP addresses what we give on the input. So x equals socket dot qd get fqdn, and then give just the IP address. That's it. So you give the IP address, it goes to the IP, it takes the IP address and reaches the device and then gets the name and display it to you. So to get the data and once it gets the data, we got to print it. So to print the data, we need an if statement just like before, but here it is going to be different. In the previous, if statement is based on x equals 0. That means if the result has a 0 error, then the device is active. But here, if this result equals to 0, that means there is no data. Socket didn't get any data, so it says I cannot get name for the IP address. So the function is going to be x not equals 0. So if the socket gets any data, or if it holds any data, that means the data is greater than 0 value, means it has something. So if the value is more than 0 in the form of data, IP address, and let's give some space, then print the value what it has, then go to the next line. So it's the output would be like, IP address what we have given, some delimiter, and then it gives the result. If it has an name, it gives the name. If not, it gives the IP address itself. Excuse me. Excuse me. IP address itself. So here else statement doesn't do much anything, but I did try to pass the data from the socket, but I didn't get any luck. So maybe you can try it, but for me, like, already if there is no data, if there is no name on the IP address, socket prints the IP address itself. So if you see an IP address equals IP address, that means there is no name on the IP on that IP address. So I'm just passing the else statement and then goes for the next one. So the rest is same. Everything should look I did I'm getting the wrong function here. Okay, so yeah, this is how it, yeah, this is correct now. So now this is good. So let's run the code and see whether it no, it is not going to work because I'm requesting the data and converting the data in the form of JSON file. So there is no way that it is going through this basic HTML file. So to work on JSON data like jQuery or for the action, to define an action, we have to find a way. So that over there, Flask has given us a good options for that, the Flask website. So if you see, in order to use jQuery, we can have to download it first and place it in the static folder of your application, and then ensure it's loaded. Ideally, you have layout template that is used for all pages where you have to add the script statement to the bottom of your body to load the jQuery. So it's basically saying you to add a JavaScript file under the static folder and then add the script, add the this JavaScript to that, and then pull it. But for now, I'm not going to do that. I'm directly copy pasting it. I like it is asking you to create a jQuery.js file under the static folder and write the action and do the JavaScripting to create the actions for this HTML page manually, if you don't want to use the third-party API requests or libraries. And the other way is to call the Ajax library from Google API, and so this is a simple method to do that. So I'm going to do that and copy, paste. So now I have pasted. Okay, so I have pulled the request. I have requested Ajax from Google API, and then the jQuery, yes, and then simple. Then I think we have to use JavaScript also. So what this a simple method you would be to add a script tag to our page that sets a global variable to prefix to root of the application, something like this. Yeah, it is asking us to create a prefix root global variable tag, which is this. Now this is a global variable tag that is used to request the data from, or to supply the to provide the data on the JavaScript. Now we are going to do that, and the JavaScript is going to be this way. The jQuery is going to be this way. So this is the jQuery request you can do. Over here, the Flask has provided us a basic application that is adding two numbers by providing two input values. So give a number in the input value A and a number in the input value B, and when you click submit, it gives a result on the result. So it has two input values and one result, but we only have one input value and one result, so we don't need B. So let's take out this B. So I did delete the B, and now we are in the A. And if you see this is an input. Input in the HTML is a kind of uh, widget that only takes limited values. But if you need to type something as a message, you need to use text area. So I am in text area because we are using in our application text area has an input value, and we got to change this add number global variable to ping nodes. Okay, so now we changed it, and we have result where the id with result with an id. So this is an id, this is an output thing where the result is being delivered or printed or displayed. So we have a result with id text area. It is a text area. We have, I think we have everything in pretty good shape. I'm not sure what exactly it is doing, but I know this is an input value and it's giving a result over the result text. So we need an input value. Oh, we have a calculate. Calculate is also an input ID binding when you click it. Now this is going to be ping. Yeah. So now when you click ping, it binds with the click function, click action, and then it does this job. It goes to the global variable ping nodes and it does the ping function job, then gives the result, get the function data, and then gives it our id result in the form of text. Okay, so now everything looks good. Let's text the code. Okay, I'm pinging Google DNS. Boom, it is active. When I click name resolve, I don't get anything. The reason I did not add the JavaScript action script to do the name resolve. So let's do that again. So let's same thing, copy, paste. Make sure you change this ping to look up because that's the ID what we click, get the name resolve. Find, click, yeah. After it clicks, it should go to the let's look global out, then do the job. So now I think it should be good. Okay, oh yeah. Oh, I did not give you the okay, now it should give us DNS lookup. Oh, so this is it. So when I click name resolve, it is giving me everything what I need. Like I say 4.4.4.4, ping it. says it is inactive. So it did get the response from the go 8.8.8.8, so it has given the name what it got, but it didn't get any response from the 4.4.4.4. So that's the reason why it has reprinted the IP address again. So which means it didn't get any response from this IP address. So just to remind you, so this is how the socket works for the FQDNA. So this is our application, and we have written the code and on the Python, and we have added the Ajax jQuery function actions to the HTML page, and we did test the application, and it is working really good. And in the next video, I'm going to show you how to add CSS styles to the same web page so that it looks really good. We can move the get result over to here and enter IP over here, then give a header, title to this one. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Take care. Bye bye.